This is Shantan Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering College, Dundigal, Hyderabad. The subject is matrices and calculus. Today, we are going to discuss about on the topic, the change the order of integration under your Cartesian coordinates only. That means, whenever the integrations are two integrations, like one is x and also y, the variables which are involving in terms of x comma y, then we need to do that by using the change the order of integration. In previous sessions, we discussed whenever the limits are given like constant limits and also the variable limits. And again, sometimes the limits are also not given, either the constants are variable. Then we need to formation of the limits, that finding that given equations, then find the solutions. And here, based upon that concept, we need to discuss today the change the order of integrations. The topic is change the order of integration only under the Cartesian coordinates. Here, before going to discuss that, we need to discuss, first of all, the given strips are parallel to x-axis. That means, here, while we are going to observing here, already we discussed in the previous session, that means, whenever the diagram is with the help of this the parallel to x-axis, that means, here, we need to understand what is the inner strip and what is the outer strip, that is with respect to x variable, and after that we need to find out whatever that y limits, the constants, that is a lower limit and also that upper limit. That means with the help of the double integration, the area is under the x and also y. That means one of the, here according to parallel to x axis, it is x limits are, here the lower limit is, that is with respect to dx and also dy, the lower limit is, it is a p, and again the upper limit is, that means outer limit is, that is a q condition. And similarly, the limits are y, corresponding that y is equal to c, and again the lower limit, this is the, and upper limit is y is equal to d. And based upon this one, we need to find the solution under the parallel to x-axis. This regarding this parallel to x-axis, already we discussed in the previous session. And similarly, whenever the variables are under the parallel to y-axis, that means while we are going to draw the diagram based upon the given equations, here we need to identify what about the bounded region, and after that identification, the bounded region, we need to sketch the diagram, that is identify that what is the inner part of, that is y, and outer part of the x, and again the x limits are the left side, that is inner part, the outside is inner outside of the upper limit. That means under the double integration f of x comma y into dx, that is area of the given double integration, here one is a y and other one is a x. That means based upon the given diagram, it is a graph of this one, that y is the inside, and again that g of x, that y is equal to h of x, that is the upper part. While we are going to observing here, y is equal to g of x. That means y is equal to g of x is, here the lower limit is that p, and again the upper limit is a q condition. That means based upon this one, again here the x limits are, here x is inner part is left side, and again outer part is right side, that is a d condition. And based upon that previous lectures, here the parallel to x-axis and also the parallel to y-axis, we discussed clearly. And again based upon this parallel to x-axis and parallel to y-axis, now today we are going to discuss, based upon this one, we need to change the order of integration. That means whenever the given functions are x in terms of like x variable in terms of like y, that is x is equal to y, and again if it is the limits are in terms of y, that is treated as x. And based upon that, we need to do that, interchange that by using the change the order of integration. For example, here procedure to find the double integration by the change the order of integration. That means we need to understand, based upon this is the procedure. If we want to do that, find the value of the given double integral by change the order of integration, we need to follow the some certain steps. Here, one is draw the region from the given data. That means from the limits of integration, we need to find the solution. That means draw the region of the given data. And similarly, after draw the diagram, then draw the strip as per the given limits of the integration. That means here first with the help of the given limits, we need to draw the diagram, that is a region where it is bounded, and again after that you need to identify the draw the strips as per the given limits of the integral. And further we need to find out the remove the given the strip the parallel to draw the new perpendicular. That means whenever the horizontal is given, we need to draw that what is a particular like perpendicular, and again if it is the limits are vertical, we need to draw that what is a horizontal. That is the meaning of we need to identify that change the order of integration and find the limits of similarly the both the integral, that is a new step corresponding the if it is a given the horizontal, we find what is the vertical, and if it is a given the vertical, we need to find the horizontal, and after that we need to calculate with the help of the given problem. For example, we need to discuss that is the change the order of integration and evaluate the limits are one is a 0 to 4a and other one is integration that x square by a 4a to 2 into root ax is the function, it is a 1 and again the with respect to dy and dx. That means first of all according to the working rule, we need to consider what is the given limits with respect to either the y or with respect to x. That means while we are observing here that the inner limits are in terms of x, that means we treat it as a y limits. That is you need to assume that y is equal to x square by 4a, that is y is equal to x square by 4a, and again the upper limits are y is equal to 2 root x and rest of the values are x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 4a. By using these are the y in terms of x and again x in terms of like the limit 0 constants, by solving this one we need to draw the diagram. Here indirectly while we are going to observing the problem is given the variable in terms of x, that is the meaning of we need to assume that y, that indirectly the given function is, that means under the double integration the curve is the like parallel like vertical position, and based upon this vertical position by the concept of this change the order of integration, we need to find that what is the horizontal strip, that is after that finding the solution and again after finding the draw the diagram. And again here by solving this one from the first equation it is clearly x square is equal to 4ay and from the second equation y square is equal to 4ax. By using these two equations while we are going to solving, we obtain that clearly x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 4a, that is also second limits. Here by solving this one, here y is equal to x square by 4a and y is equal to 2 root ax from the given two equation, that is inside inner limits are in terms of x. Here y is equal to x square by 4a and y is equal to 2 root ax, that means here equating the both sides, here clearly we obtain it is a x square, that is a one of the y is equal to x square by 4a, it is a parabola, and again y is equal to 2 root ax is also other parabola. That is as we know that according to these are the completed by solving these two equations, we obtain that intersecting the points are 0 0 and again other say intersecting points are 4 4. While we are going to observing here, that is from the given double integration, it is a given the condition is vertical strip. And again here the vertical strip is nothing but it is a bounded, the region is like this. A totally bounded region is like this. And based upon this bounded region, here it is a given vertical strip, the given problem. And based upon this one, here as per our problem, we need to change the order of integration. That means from the given vertical, we need to find out what is the horizontal in this bounded region. That means we need to find out here according to the horizontal strip only. And according to while we are going to finding that horizontal strip, and again we need to identify what is the inner strip of the horizontal, what is the outer strip of the horizontal. While we are going to observing here, the inside of the horizontal strip is, it is a parabola, that is y square is equal to 4ax is a parabola, and again that upper strip is the right side of the curve, that is y is equal to 2 root ax is the value. That means from the given equation, here x limits are here according to y square by 4a and again the upper limit is 2 into root a. The limits are intersecting y is equal to here lower limit is 0, the upper limit is 4a. But actually it is 4a and also 4a. And after for finding that these are the limits, now we need to do that integration with respect to first is a y and after with respect to x. While we are going to do that integration, first it is a x, that is a x is a value, and again x, the upper limit is that is 2 root ay and the lower limit is y square by 4a, and after find a replacement of your upper and lower limit, and next we need to integrating with respect to y. Again after finding that with respect to y, again we need to replace the upper limit as well as the lower limit with the corresponding the limits are x is equal to 0 to 4a. Here finally we obtain that 16 into a square by 3 is a final solution. That means from where we are going to observing this particular problem, the problem is given that is in terms of x, that is treated as y. That means given the strip is a parallel to y, but as per our change the order of integration, we need to change the according to the horizontal strip, and after that changing like according to this the horizontal strip, then we need to find out what is the inner part, that is the left side, what is the outer part, that is the right side, and that finding the limits are what is the y limits, the lower limit, and again the upper limit. And further, for example, here the change the order of integration and evaluate the double integration 0 to 4 and integration x square by 4 to that is a 2 root x into dy dx. And moreover, in this problem also, the given problem is in terms of x. That means we need to assume these are the limits are for y is equal to, it is x square by 4 and upper limit is also y is equal to 2 root x. And rest of the limits are, we need to assume that x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 4. And by taking these are the limits y is equal to and also y is equal to the lower limit and y is equal to upper limit, and again x is equal to 0 to 0 and 0 to 4. Here when we are finding and again the draw the diagram, here also we obtain that clearly the diagram should be here y is equal to 4ax is nothing but it is x square is equal to 4ay. Here x square is equal to 4ay is nothing but this is the such type of the diagram, and upper limit that is y is equal to 2 root x is nothing but here also you obtain this such type of the diagram. And in this here the intersecting the bounded areas is like this is the given actually the problem. And in this vertical the lower strip is here and upper strip is like this one. But as per here, while we are going to change the order of integration, we need to modify that with the help of this is the curve and these are the curve. Wherever it is a bounded region, here we need to assume that horizontal strip, and based upon this one, at the time of the horizontal strip, the lower strip is this is the lower strip, and again the upper strip is that is a upper strip is this is the upper strip. And based upon here, well we are going to discuss here also the lower here intersecting points are same 0, 0 to 4, 4, that the function is x square by 4 into 2 root x, because of that is after interchanging like that horizontal, here x is the lower limit is x is equal to y square by 4 and upper limit is x is equal to 2 root y, the y limits are 0 to 4. And here also here integrating first with respect to x, that means x the limits are y square by 4, the upper limit is 2 root into y. And again after replacement of here with the help of these are the x limits, and again we obtain that in terms of y. Again after integrating with respect to y and again replacement of the y solution, we obtain that clearly the solution will be 16 by 3 is the final solution. And this is a clear understanding about whenever the given under the double integration by using the change the order of integration. For example, change the order of integration and evaluate. The problem is integration 0 to 1, that integration 0 to root of 1 minus x square into y square into dy dx. While we are going to observing here, the function is y square and with respect to dy and dx. That means the integral in terms of x. That means whenever the limits are under in terms of x, that we need to assume that y is equal to. That means here y is equal to 0 to root of 1 minus x square, and again the rest of the limits are we need to consider x is equal to 0 to 1. Here based upon this concept, here under that limits are y is equal to root of 1 minus x square and y is equal to 0 and x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1. Here, based upon this one, while we are going to solving, that is nothing but y is equal to root of 1 minus x square. That means the given variable is, with the help of this equation, you obtain the circle. That means x square plus y square is equal to 1 and y is equal to 0, and rest of the values are x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1. And with the help of this x square plus y square is equal to 1 and y is equal to 0 and x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1, by using these are the four values, while we are going to solving, we obtain, like according to, this is the diagram. That means with the help of this x square plus y square, we obtain this is the circle and y is equal to 0, this is the moreover. But the problem is given in terms of x. That means we need to take that what is the vertical step. But here, as per that, change the order of integration, we need to take the interchange, that means vertical to, that is a horizontal step. While we are going to observing here, the vertical step is nothing but it is a vertical step, and again but we need to change the horizontal step, because of by change the order of integration procedure, here the given the limits are, that is a vertical step, we need to change the horizontal. Actually, the problem is it is a above the origin is totally it is a covering, but here it is a 0 to that lower limit is y is equal to, that is 0 to root of 1 minus x square, and based upon that we need to consider only that is the first quadrant, and based upon this first quadrant you need to take this is the vertical, but we need to change the horizontal. Based upon the horizontal we obtain according to like this. And while we are going to observing in this, the horizontal, that left side is the inner part, the right side is outer part, and based upon that lower part is nothing but x is equal to 0, the outer part is based upon that intersecting on the circle. That circle is nothing but, as we know that x square plus y square is equal to 1, while we are finding that x in terms of y, that x is equal to root of 1 minus y square. And rest of the values are here intersecting, the points are 0, 0, and again here intersecting points are 1, 1 is a point. And here it is x limits are 0 to root of 1 minus y square, automatically y the limits are, it is y is equal to 0 and y is equal to 1. And based upon this one, we need to find out like such type of these are the limits. Now our concept is to find the integration. The integration is nothing but with respect to x is the integration x, but here the variable is y square, therefore you need to take out a common y square is outside, that integration part of remaining one is a value, the integration one is a x. Therefore here integrating with respect to x, and again you need to replace, that is 0, the upper limit is 1 minus y square, therefore root of 1 minus y square into value, because of the lower limit is it is a 0. And again based upon this one, again while we are going to finding the integration with the help of the root of 1 minus y square in between 0 to 1, the solution will be, that is a pi by 16 is a final solution. For example, this one, the change the order of integration and hence evaluate integration 0 to 1, the integration 0 to root of 1 minus x square e power of y by e power y plus 1 into under root of 1 minus x square minus y square into dy dx. And here also the function is e power y by e power y plus 1 into under root of 1 minus x square minus y square. The limits are 0 to root of 1 minus x square. That means the limits are in terms of x. That means we need to assume that these are the limits for y and rest of the limits are for x is equal to. And here by equating y is equal to 0 and y is equal to root of 1 minus x square, here it is also given the variables are, by the draw the diagram we obtain the circle, and moreover it is the lower limit is given that 0. That means according to while we are going to draw the diagram, we obtain only in the first quadrant, that is a positive direction. And again here the limits are in terms of x means the limits are given, that is a vertical, and based upon the vertical we need to change that horizontal strip. That means here given that it is a bounded the region first quadrant, that is a first quadrant, but the given limits are in the, what is this here, it is a vertical strip, but according to the change the order of integration, we need to change the horizontal strip. That means here from vertical strip is changed to that is a horizontal strip. And after changing that, finding the like reduce it to horizontal strip, again we need to take what is a uh, left side, that is inner part, that is the right side, it is a outer part. Here x is equal to clearly that is a lower part is 0, inner part, that is outer part is x is equal to, this is the based upon the circle, that is x is equal to root of 1 minus y square is the value. And based upon this one, it is x is equal to 0 and x is equal to root of 1 minus y square. The rest of the values are intersecting here. It is 0, 0 and it is a 1, 1. And here the y limits are, it is 0 and again upper limit is y is equal to 1. And again after finding this one, again we need to find the integration with respect to, first one is x and after with respect to y. And again, while we are going to observing here the diagram, it clearly showing like lower limit, upper limit, and these are the y limits 0 to 1. And by solving this one with respect to x, in between the limits are 0 to square root of 1 minus y square and y is equal to that is a 0 to 1, the solution will be, we need to check it. And next one, further change the order of integration and hence evaluate integral that 0 to 1, 0 to y square, x square into dx and also dy. Here also the function is x square, that with respect to dx and dy, that is under the variable Cartesian coordinates. Here the limits are, the lower limit is 0, the upper limit is in terms of y. That means while we are going to observing here, the limits are in terms of y. That means we need to assume these are the limits for x is equal to, the lower limit is 0, the upper limit is x is equal to y square. And remaining the rest of the limits are y is equal to 0 and upper limit is y is equal to 1. That is the meaning of, we need to consider according to like that, x is equal to 0 and x is equal to y square, y is equal to 0 and y is equal to 1. That means the given problem is here in terms of y, that we assume that it is x. That means the problem is given the horizontal strip. According to the change the order of integration, we need to change that, that is a vertical strip. After the draw the diagram and again after identification, that is a bounded region. Here x is equal to y square and x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0 and y is equal to 1. By solving these are the, this is the problem. Here clearly we obtain that it is a diagram should be like according to like this. That means that is x is equal to y square. X is equal to y square is nothing but such type of, we obtain that this is the parabola. And again x is equal to 0. That means it is a x is equal to 0. And y is equal to 0. That means on the intersecting on the y. And y is equal to 1. It is nothing but it is a y is equal to 1. And again based upon this one, you obtain that it is a given problem is x is equal to, actually in presence of this one, it is a bounded region. And in this, the given problem is horizontal, but we need to take the vertical based upon this is the vertical strip only. And under this vertical strip, we need to take that the lower limit is, that is a, here the lower limit is based upon the parabola, that is x is equal to y square. The upper part is y is equal to 1. That means it is a x is equal to y square is a parabola is the lower part, but we need to find out what is y in terms of x. Therefore, from that x is equal to y square, it is clearly y is equal to root x. And again the upper limit is based upon the line, that is the line is a y is equal to 1. And again that rest of the x limits are, it is a x is equal to 0 and again x limit is upper limit is a 1. That means x is equal to here, the limits are 0, 0 to that upper limit is a 1 only. And again like this, according to, while we are identify that the change the order of integration and with respect to the particular limits, and again we need to integrating with respect to y. That integrating with respect to y means it is x square is a variable, we need to take out common outside. The rest of the value is 1. That means x square into 1, that is a 1 is a with respect to y is a y and root x and 1. And again now we need to replace x square into, that is a x square into 1 minus, that is a root x. And again, once again, we need to integrating with respect to x in between 0 to 1. The finally, we obtain 1 by 21 is a final solution. And similarly, for example, the change the order of integration and evaluate in between 0 to 3 and root of that x by 3 into 1. Into function is here e power of y cube with respect to dy and dx. And in this problem also, the given problem is in terms of x. That means we need to assume that y is equal to x by root 3. The upper limit is y is equal to 1. And rest of the values are x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 3 is a value. And based upon this one, after we assume that, and again we need to solve that, here it is clearly y is equal to root x by 3 is nothing but it is a y square is equal to x by 3 is a one equation. And again other one is a that x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 3. And it is x is equal to y is equal to, that is a y square is equal to x by 3 is nothing but x is equal to 3 y square and y is equal to 1 and x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 3. And based upon these 4 values, and again after 4 values, while we are going to solving, we obtain the diagram should be clearly, it is a parabola of like this. And again in this parabola, again it is a given problem is in terms of, the given problem is in terms of x, that means the given problem is the vertical, but we need to change that horizontal. And while we are going to changing the horizontal, it is clearly in between the bounded region, here it is a covering the region. That means the lower part is clearly, it is the left side, that is a on the y-axis, that is a condition. And again the upper part is based upon the, like on the parabola. And based upon that here, it is clearly showing that it is a square root of, sorry, it is a vertical. Here vertical is nothing but it is a, we need to find out the lower part is, it is a parabola, the upper part is a that line. And based upon this one, the lower part is a parabola, that means the given is a y is equal to root of x by 3, the upper part is a y is equal to 1, and rest of the values x is equal to 0 to 3. And again by making like according to that x like vertical to, that is x horizontal, it is x is equal to 0 to 3y square is upper, and again the lower limit is the rest of the values are y is equal to 0 to 1, the function is e power of y cube. And again here finally after that integrating with respect to 1 is a x and again with respect to y, and again after that 1 by 1 replacement of the limits, we clearly obtain the solution. For example, like according to any problem is given under the double integration, here we need to first draw the diagram, and again after draw the diagram we need to change the depend upon the vertical to horizontal and horizontal to vertical step, then find the solutions. Example, by solving y is equal to 1 plus root of 2x minus x square and your y minus 1, the circle will be like this. From the given curves, y in terms of x and again x is equal to y to 2. After solving all the steps, we obtain that clearly such type of the circle, but it is given the vertical, we need to change the horizontal with the help of the condition. Because of it is a vertical step is given, the limits are in terms of x means that is a y, it is a given the y, but we need to change that what is a horizontal step. And under the horizontal, here again the lower step is like this and upper step is like this. The lower step and again the rest of the limits, then we need to find the solution. For example, here the change the order of integration and hence evaluate the double integration 0 to 1 0 to y x square plus y square into dx dy plus integration 1 to 2 that 0 to 2 minus y and x square plus y square into dx dy. While we are going to observing particularly in these, the first limits are x is equal to 0 to y and the rest of the limits are y is equal to 0 to 1, and moreover the other side is x is equal to 0 to root 2 minus y and y is equal to 1 to 2. That means we need to assume that according to 1 by 1, the first integral x is equal to 0 to x is equal to y, and again that y is equal to 0 to 1, from the second integration, it is a x is equal to 0 to 2 minus y and y is equal to, the value is 1 to 2. Based upon all these things, we need to draw the diagram first of all according to the working rule. X is equal to 0, that means it is origin. X is equal to 2 minus y, that is a line, straight line. And again that y is equal to 0, and again y is equal to 1, and x is equal to 0, and x is equal to 2 minus y, that is also line. And y is equal to 1, and y is equal to 2. Under this problem, here it is not involving any parabola. And by solving all these 4 values, we obtain the rough diagram is, it is a y is equal to x, this is the line. And again, it is x equal to 0 to 1 and 1 to 1. And again the rest of the values, it is a x plus y is equal to 2 with the help of the diagram. While we are going to observing the together, the total curve is, this is the problem. With the help of the first one, you obtain that according to belongs to here, and again after that the line to here, and again here the rest of the values. When we are going to observing this problem, it is clearly intersecting, that is a 2 divisions, that is a subdivisions. Because of, while we are going to take that, that is a horizontal strip, because of the problem is given in terms of y, that means the given problem is under the horizontal strip. And again here the horizontal strips are raising like the 2 parts, that is by dividing like 2 partitions. One is a, here this is the mid of the part, the above part is based upon the left side is on the y-axis, the right side is on the, that is a line. And again one more, it is below the line, it is left side is the inner part is on the y-axis, the outer part is y is equal to x is a condition. But it is not possible to finding according to that horizontal, because of the given function is a horizontal strip. But based upon this one, we need to take that what is a vertical. Because of the according to the change the order of integration, if horizontal strip is given, we need to find out what is a vertical strip. That means while we are going to changing the vertical strip, here it is a problem is, this is the vertical strip. And after identification, this is the vertical strip, here it is clearly showing that the inner strip is based upon that x is equal to y, the outer strip is based upon that x is equal to 2 minus y. Because of vertical strip is nothing but the inner part is the below side, the outer strip is outside, the above side, and again that rest of the things, the lower limit is x is, that is a like y is equal to 0, the upper limit is y is equal to 1 is the value. And based upon that understanding all these things, here clearly showing that here y is equal to x, and again the upper limit is y is equal to 2 minus x, the lower limit is x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1. Based upon this diagram clearly we identified. Therefore, first we need to integrating with respect to y, that means x square is treated as constant, the rest of the value is 1, plus y square integration, that is a y cube by 3, the limits are in between, it is y, the limits are in between, y is equal to x, and again it is a 2 minus x. We need to integrating with respect to like y, and again after replacement of x limits, and further we need to integrating with respect to x, we need to find the solution of the given problem. While we are going to observing in the previous example only intersecting only one area, but based upon this one it is intersecting given the problem is the 2 regions, but after changing the interchanging we obtain that only one vertical strip. For example, change the order of integration and hence evaluate. Here also the problem is while we are going to observing the limits are in terms of x. That means we need to assume that y is equal to x square and upper limit is y is equal to 2 minus x. The function is xy with respect to dx and dy. The rest of the limits are, that is x is equal to 0 to 1. That means after understanding this one, the limits are in terms of x is nothing but it is a given strip is a parallel to y-axis, and by the change the order of integration, we need to find out what is a horizontal strip. That means after with the help of that assume that y is equal to x square and y is equal to 2 minus x and x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1. By solving these are the 4 values, then we get that diagram is, this is the diagram. That means that according to one of the parabola y is equal to x square is nothing but it is a parabola and again that y is equal to 2 minus x is nothing but y is equal to 2 minus x, and again here y is equal to 1 and again y is equal to 2. By solving these are the four values. Here intersecting points are 0, 0 and again 1, 0 and 2, 0 and here 1, 1 and it is also 0, 2. But the problem is given it is a vertical step, but the process of the change the order of integration, we need to change that horizontal step. While we are going to changing the horizontal step, here it is a where we are going to observe here, it is here and again here also the horizontal step that. What we are observing here, while we are going to do that according to horizontal step, it is not only one is the inside, one is the outer part. That means we need to divide that to subparts. While we are going to dividing like that mid of the point, this one that is y is equal to 1 and again here we need to find out one is with respect to like O, C, A and again second one A, C and also B. And based upon these two subparts and again we need to find out one is with respect to x and again one other is with respect to x. That is with the help of here clearly one is a from the first lower part it is a clearly the lower limit is x is equal to 0 to upper limit is 0 to y and again that y limits are 0 to 1 and again from the above the portion that is along the ACB the limits are x is equal to 0 to upper limit is that is 2 minus y and y is equal to 1 to 2. That means here that first part is here it is on the y axis and again upper part is based on the y is equal to x square, that means that x is equal to root y. And again from here to here the values are 0 to that is 1 and again similarly from the above equation that is above part here also y x is equal to 0 that the outside part that is based on the line. That line is nothing but y is equal to 2 minus x, but we need to find out what is the x value in terms of y. That means with the help of that y is equal to 2 minus x, while we are going to modify it, that is clearly x is equal to 2 minus y, therefore this is the upper value. And again the rest of the values are also here y is equal to 1 to 2 because of here it is a 1 is a value of intersecting here, the upper limit is here is a value. And after splitting like these are the two parts, again we need to integrating first with respect to x. The first part is the solution is 1 by 6 and the second part solution is 5 by 4, 24. After adding these two solutions, we obtain that clearly this is the 3 by 8. And similarly, any problem is given under the double integration, we need to observe that whether the limits are in terms of x, that we need to assume that y. That means the given problem is under the vertical step, then we need to change the that is horizontal step. For example, the problem is given under the limits are in terms of x and again that treated as y. That means the given problem is based upon the y, that is a vertical step is given, we need to change that horizontal step. Based upon this conclusion, we need to discuss based upon this is the under the double integration that Cartesian coordinates, that is a change the order of integration. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.